As Dante wrote about 700 years ago, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. What we have coming up is 35 minutes of walkthrough on the Wood-Mizer LT40. I didn't think it would take anywhere near that long, but once I was finished editing, which has already been done, I realized that 35 minutes, it's a very, very long video, and it's really only for people that are interested in details on the Wood-Mizer LT40. So if you're not, either skip through to see if you're interested and then continue to watch, or maybe the best thing you could do right now is bail and go someplace else, because again, it is going to be potentially 35 minutes of hell. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Either way. Welcome back, anybody. What I've wanted to do for quite some time, and I'm just today getting around to it, is I want to do a walkthrough, comment, etc. on the LT40 that I've got here. I've had it just about a year. I have not had the opportunity to run it as much as I wanted to, but the point is, I think it's something you guys would be interested in, seeing all of the bells and whistles and how it works and so on and so forth. I have a piece of paper here, and I wanted to say that this is not a script that I will be reading, so that you will pay attention to what I say. So anyway, I've got a whole list of things because I can't remember anything anymore. I've got 2 pages of stuff to go through. And what we're going to do, I believe, is, oh, here comes the big boss. We're going to do a cut on here. I'm going to get some coffee and then I'll get back to you. Okay, I'm back. Even though I've got this piece of paper, cheat sheet, whatever you want to call it, this is really unscripted, which you will definitely be seeing the result of me speaking unscripted. But I think what I want to do is quickly go over the mill in general, so that you people that are not interested in the whole deal, you can get to the end of as much as you want to hear, then click next or whatever after you click subscribe and like, because you got to do that. That's how YouTube works. So anyway, this is an LT40 hydraulic wide. The wide gives us an extra 6 inches of cut throat width, and it can go up to, let's see, do I have that here? I do. I have all that information. The mill overall length is 26 feet 2 inches, and it's 6 feet 6 inches wide, and it's just under 8 feet tall to the top of the mast over here. Has a log weight capacity of 4,400 pounds, which is as much as my pickup truck. That's a heavy log. Log length maximum is 21 feet on the basic mill. Log diameter 36 inches. The cut width says in the spec 34 inches. In actuality, between the log stops and the outside blade guide, it's really only about 30.5 inches, but it's still a very wide bore that you can cut. And the depth of cut from the blade up to this beam up here is 10.5 inches. The engine is a 26.5 horsepower Kohler Command Pro twin cylinder electronic fuel injection. Can you believe that on a small engine? Never thought they would do such a thing. You can get a Yanmar diesel engine, and that only adds $7,900 just for that option alone. I think that's a good deal, and everybody should have one, except for me. Oh, time out. One of the advantages of having a wife that works at Dunkin' Donuts is Dunkin' Donuts coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. Oh yeah. If you're jealous that I have the coffee and you don't, good. Oh, there goes my phone, there goes the papers. But I'm okay. All right, where were we? Yanmar diesel. All right, so let's, you're about to go mobile, and we're going to go through the whole 9 yards here quickly, and then we're going to get into the details and watch things actually move and so on and so forth. So hold on. Well, since I was in the back here doing the first part of this thing, the first thing on my list is trailer lights, which shouldn't really be the first, but regardless, we got LED lights here. You can see that one, and the other one is way up here. Not that it's a big deal, but we got trailer lights. There's side lights on here. You got the red one there. There's a yellow one there. There's one on each side. Trailer lights are connected here through this connector right here, which also has electric brakes on the trailer, or the trailer portion, if you want to call it that. Log bunks are right here. They are capped with a stainless steel cap. They are adjustable for fine tuning. I have found, saw a video where somebody had an older mill, and the constant banging of heavy logs caused the structure underneath to bend a little tiny bit, and the bunks got out of alignment. So they are adjustable through that jack screw right there, and there's one on the outside. So loosening this bolt that you see right there, which is just a clamp type mechanism, you can raise and lower the bunk for alignment. Loading arms are right here. Later on you'll see the how they operate and everything, but these are the loading arms, and they do have a capacity of 4,400 pounds, which again, it's like, wow. The mill comes standard with 4 backstops, log stops. The standard is this unit right here with the wheels, and the one in the very, very back over there with the wheels are hydraulically operated. The 2 in the middle, that one there, and that one right there, are manually operated. For an additional $175 or thereabouts, they can all be tied together, which is what I did, and so all 4 of these operate hydraulically at the same time. Log turner is right here. We'll see, go on the other side, so you're probably going to see a little jerky motion as I edit this part out. Okay, back to where we were. This is the log turner. This is also hydraulically operated, and you will see this in operation if you stick around long enough. Clamp is this unit right here. It looks like the post that goes up and down is about a 2-inch solid round chrome-plated bar. So this thing is more than double extra heavy duty, and it's a very, very well made, very strong unit. Roller toe boards. There are 2 hydraulically operated. Right here is the first one, and the other one is way in the back there. You can see it underneath the blade right there. Now my screen has gone dark on here, so I'm going to have to assume that you are seeing what I think you're seeing. Outriggers that has a total of 6 leveling feet, or outriggers, whatever you want to call them. The standard units that come with this mill are terrible. They're a very poorly designed unit. I've mentioned it many times before. They just don't work easily, and I hated them from literally the first time I used them. So I spent an additional $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, whatever, to get these fine adjust outriggers. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click you off and click you back on again so that I can see what I'm actually pointing at. Okay, I'm back. So this is one of the fine adjust outriggers. It is adjustable down here. There's a pin and a series of holes for rough alignment, rough positioning, whatever. And then the fine position is done up here. That nut is attached to a threaded rod, which then goes down through here, and you can just crank this thing up and down to get your proper height. These I love. They are fantastic. Easy to put on. Taking the old ones off, putting the new ones on took about an hour, hour and a half. So it's not really a long time to do. And I strongly recommend that if you buy a mill and it has these fine adjust outriggers as an option, I would suggest that you get them if you're going to be moving the mill and setting it up a lot, quite often. Okay, now we're going to swing back around to the water tank and the gas tank. Here's the fuel tank. When the saw head is all the way down, it's easily accessible. It holds about 5 gallons, I'm told. Any place I've looked, I can't find what the capacity is in writing, but I did call Wood-Mizer and they said, as far as they can tell, it's about 5 gallons. Over here is a 5-gallon lube tank. Currently I have water and laundry soap. I don't like to use dish soap because dish soap is a little too sudsy. Laundry soap doesn't have as much surfactant or whatever it is that they use that makes the bubbles, so I put in the laundry soap instead. And one thing I'm going to point out, see this little tiny cap right here? These are, this is not the cap that came with the unit. That's a cap that you really need to break open a little tiny bit when you're running the lube, because otherwise what it'll do is it'll, as the water goes down, it'll suck the sides in and it could damage your tank. Problem is, you lose this thing right here, you can't buy one from Wood-Mizer, because Wood-Mizer can't buy one of these from the manufacturer of the tank. You can buy the whole tank, but you can't buy that thing right there. This happens to be a, oh yeah, by the way, I did lose mine. Matter of fact, after it fell off, I found it on the ground and I said, hey, look at that cap. And then I threw it away, not knowing what it was for. At any rate, this I stole off a container of dry gas or some silly thing. They're not easy to find to get the right size to fit on there. But if you can find dry gas or something like that and play around enough, you can find a new cap that'll fit these things. Otherwise, you can spend, I don't know how much for a whole new tank. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, let's go over to the hydraulics. Now the hydraulics are electrically powered, and I'm going to shut you off again so I can turn my screen back on. This is annoying. The hydraulics are have an electric motor powered from the battery. The battery on the mill is on the saw head, or carriage I should say, and there's a an electrical connection bar right here that sends voltage to the motor. So the carriage has to be retracted almost all the way to the tongue end of the mill in order to operate the hydraulics, which is a good thing in that you know that you're going to be safe if you're running the hydraulics. But the bad thing is if you are stuck out in the middle of nowhere with your carriage and you have to raise it, lower it, whatever, you can't do it. So what we've got here for our controls, I don't know if you can see it clearly. Ah, there you go. There you go. This is the clamp in and out lever right here. This is the second one, is the clamp up and down. This is the log turner slash backstop. Now, they've got this thing set up, and when I first saw this, I thought it was a really cheap way of doing something because they saved on a lever and valve and everything else. This lever not only runs the log turner here, it also runs the backstop. And the way it works is really cool once I understood their concept. When you want the log turner to operate, the first thing that happens is the backstops come up into position so that you can't turn on the log turner and push the log off the mill. So that works really, really well. So you lift this lever up, the backstop comes up. When it's fully up, then the log turner will raise and lower as you go up and down, and then you hold down long enough and the log turner will go out of the way. And then after that, the backstops will go down. Now we have two other levers here. This is for the front and for the rear toe boards, up and down, simple and easy. And the last one here is for the log loader. And that's it for the hydraulics. Now let's see what my cheat sheet says for next. Okay, let's skip ahead over here to the saw head or carriage, however you want to say it. And again, I've got this thing in a certain order and it's not well done. First thing that we have here is a locking chain for the carriage. It goes right there. I don't usually have it connected because I only move the mill from my shop out here to the yard, which is only a few feet, so I don't worry too much about that because there's another locking mechanism that I'll show you in just a moment. Got to look through my list here. Yeah, so here's the locking chain. If I'm going to move this down the road, obviously I'll get this thing connected. But the reason I don't connect it now when I move it from the shop out here, and you've probably seen it before if you've seen my other videos, I forget to undo it and I run out of chain very quickly. So let's go over here to the other locking part, which is the locking pin. And I'm gonna have to shut you off again because this screen has gone dark. Okay, you're back. And guess what? While you were gone, or actually you were always there, but while I was busy doing other things, I realized that there's a setting in here that I can keep this stupid screen on all the time. So let's see if that works. Anyway, this is the locking pin right here. When you go to move the mill, at any time you go to move the mill, and this is an absolute must, you lower the saw head down so that the pin and the saw head are engaged. And you're wondering, why do you have to do it? You absolutely must do that. And I'll tell you why. It's a really funny story. When I first got the mill, I had the thing sitting right over here. Sorry about swinging you around, but I had it sitting right there. And I decided that what I wanted to do was just move the mill a little tiny bit. The saw head was up and not locked in position. So I connected it to my tractor, moved it a little bit, and unbeknownst to me, the carriage had moved a little tiny bit and caused it to go out of level, or out of balance, I should say, out of balance. So when I undid the ball hitch in the front, the rear drops down all the way to the ground. The hitch end goes flying up in the air, and the carriage goes flying back to the end of the mill and crashes in there and stops. And then the really funny part is, as soon as that happened, a friend of mine shows up. Hey, what are you doing? So not only did I do something really stupid, there's a witness. So I'll give you his name and number if you want to call to hear the whole story. At any rate, getting back to wherever we were, those are the locking pins. And, oh, since I'm right here, we can do the blade tension. On this particular mill, blade tension is hydraulic. We have I was going to call it a pump. It's not really a pump. This is just a screw-operated cylinder, plunger, whatever, that you screw this in, plunger goes in, it creates hydraulic pressure, which then goes against the hydraulic cylinder, which then pushes the idle wheel, band wheel back and puts the tension in. According to their specifications right here, they need it to be between 2,800 and 3,000 pounds, which is right in this area here. What else is next? Blade covers. What's a blade? Here we go, blade cover. Blade cover is right here. One of them, I'm not going to show you both of them. Take out this little pin here. You loosen that clamp screw right there. Handle right here, pull it out. Works really, really well. Another blade cover is the one right here in the middle. Loosen that. This cover slides down. Cover over there comes off in the same manner as the left-hand side, and then you can take your blade out. Blades for this are 1.25 inch blade. From what I understand, you can put an 1.5 inch blade on there, but would never recommend it because I don't personally believe that the band wheels are large enough in diameter to handle a 1.5 inch blade without adding extra stress to it. The blade length here ranges from 158 to 171 inches, 158 being their standard width mill, 171 being the wide, which is what this is. And the blade thickness, as far as their specification for this mill, is 0.42 and 0.45 blade thickness. You can get thicker blades, but they don't recommend it. Let's see, blade guide is electrically driven. That's this unit right here. This moves in and out from this motor over here, controlled by the control panel, and I'll show you that in just a moment. Then what else? Guide wheels. The guide wheels on the gauge blade. The blade guide, those are the guide wheels right there. You don't even need to see them. You don't really care, I know, but you did, so there you go. Again, band wheels on here. I suppose I should take this off. And we're doing this one-handed. So this is a bear to get off because of the paint and everything. And me being old and decrepit. Come on. If this doesn't come off. There we go. Now let's see if we can do this one-handed. We're done there. Pull out a little bit. Pull over here. Sorry about all the jerking around, and we'll gently set that on the ground. So this is a 19-inch diameter band wheel, and it's got a loose-fitting V-belt. The last mill I had, which was a Timber King brand, the V-belt was right tight inside the band wheel. And if you can imagine how difficult it is to put a V-belt on any piece of equipment, how difficult it is, you should try putting a V-belt into a wheel that the V-belt just fits in the groove. It's almost impossible. Pain in the butt, but you can do it. All right, so there's our guide wheels, or band wheel, I'm sorry. Auto clutch brake. Okay, I took the cover off. This is the drive band wheel, and I was going to show you the brake mechanism, but it don't be here. So it's around on the other side, and it's inside, and you're not going to see it. But the next thing on my list, which I've dropped on the ground again, right here, is the auto clutch and the brake, which is electrically operated. You're not going to be able to see it, but inside this box right here is a motorized mechanism that raises and lowers this engine mount right here. When you go to engage the blade, this goes up, which tightens the blade, or tightens the drive belt and releases the brake at the same time. It also, over here, you can maybe see that spring. That spring operates the throttle so that as this rises, it opens the throttle up so you get more gas, and then you get up to your preset running speed. Okay, quarter scale. Boy, this is perfect. We're right in the area. This is the quarter scale. This is the standard quarter scale that comes with the mill, and I'm trying to remember if this is the standard. Yep, this is the standard quarter scale, and behind is the hardwood quarter scale. Now, I said this was the standard quarter scale that comes with the mill. What I meant was it just comes with this base. Oh, telephone. I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, don't know where we were when we were interrupted, but their standard scale system, let's call it that, comprises an inch scale over here, which is in inch measurements, believe it or not. And then there is a sliding bar over here, which has what they call their standard quarter scale on this side, and on the opposite side is the hardwood quarter scale. The difference being the standard quarter scale, they add 1/8 inch per quarter for the setting. So if you can see right here, you see there's our 1 inch mark, and right there's our 4/4 mark, which is, it's not lining up properly, but if it was, that line right there would line up with the 1/8 inch and 1/8 mark. So anyway, this is 1/8 inch bigger, higher, longer, whatever, than the inch scale. And on the other side, the hardwood, it's 1/4 inch bigger. So that when you cut a 4/4 board using the 4/4 scale, if you subtract the estimated 1/8 inch kerf, you end up with a board that's approximately 1 inch thick. Now, the band mills that you see 99% of the time, the kerf is listed, rated, calculated at 1/8 inch, but in reality it's a little bit less than an 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch being 8/64. I believe it's going to be approximately 7/64 or 3/32 total thickness, but just for giggles, we just add an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, let's see, where are we? Blade lube, which we've already discussed right here. The flow is adjusted by here. The more you turn, the faster the lube works. Now on this particular unit, this has an automatic on-off lube system, not to be confused with their miser lube, or I don't know what they call it exactly, but there's an option you can get that has an electric pump that pumps the lube out. That's quite a bit of money, but this is just plain gravity feed. There is I believe a solenoid in there someplace, so that when you engage the drive to go forward for the carriage, that's when the lube is released. Our dust chute is right here. Really cool. It goes up, it goes down, it's held in place by a bungee cord. And the cool part is, in my estimation, is right here, this piece of metal. This has a round chute hole on it, and that is exactly 4 inches and fits a 4-inch dust collection hose exactly. So by taking off this fire hose, or whatever that is, you can connect this to an internal dust collection system. Works great. And I've done it before. Okay, Debarker. This is a standard, I shouldn't say standard, it is an optional piece of equipment. It's about a $2,000 cost. If you get it on sale, you can save about $500. Debarker is this motor right here. It's a 12-volt DC motor, as you would probably guess. It's got a cutting wheel on it. Cutting wheel has, if you can see them clearly or not, I don't know, these carbide teeth on it, and it goes in the opposite direction you'd expect. The teeth are pointing, if you look down, they're pointing counterclockwise, but this thing turns clockwise so that the teeth are not digging into the bark, which would potentially cause a lot of problems. And it works very, very well. The reason for the debarker is obviously to take off the bark ahead of the blade. The center of the cutter should be the center of the blade, which is back here, so that the blade goes through nice, clean wood. The bark generally is harder than the wood that you're cutting, and in addition, the bark will also have a tendency to pick up dirt, stones, and small rodents, so this will take care of all of that. I told you about the cost, so now we're going to swing over to the control panel itself. Now, again, you're going mobile. I'll probably edit all this crap out, because I've seen when other people do the mobile thing, it's incredibly annoying. You get dizzy and everything else. As a matter of fact, I am going to shut this off. I'll put you on a tripod so this thing doesn't move all over. Hang on. Okay, I'm back and you're back. Although you probably never left, you should have, but you didn't do it. Okay, we can see there's simple set control up here and what I call the control panel down below. Control panel is a key switch. It's got 4 positions, 0 which is off, 1 which is basically on or run, and position 2 is for starting the engine. Position 3 over here is similar to the old automobile accessory position. This turns on power if you want to run anything electrically on the mill. You don't have to start the engine in order to do it. This also will allow the hydraulics to work, again, without starting the engine. So what we've got here for controls is there's a lever right here. And let's turn this key off so it doesn't do anything just yet. This over here, we have up and we have down. It's got 2 speeds, on and off. Or if you want to say it's variable speed, 0% and 100%. So we have our up down, we have our forward reverse. Now forward reverse is over here, and going forward right here, this locks into position so that you can concentrate on doing other things as it's moving. While it's running in forward position, there's a speed potentiometer over here that, turning it clockwise, will increase the speed. Counterclockwise will decrease the speed. So it is variable speed forward. In reverse, pushing down, again, as I've mentioned with the saw head up down, the reverse is 2-speed, 0% and 100%. You have no choice. Let's see, we also have told you about the guide in and out, which is right here. This will take the blade guide out. This will bring the blade guide in. We have the blade engage, which is this right here. This switch engages the blade and also ramps the engine speed up so that it goes up to normal run speed. Our debarker, we have an on-off switch here, which is basically disabled and enabled. Turning it on does not turn the debarker on. Debarker comes on when you turn on engage the blade. So you can leave this on all the time, and then the debarker will go on and off along with the blade. And we also have the debarker in and out. This will bring the debarker away from the log, and this will bring it closer to the log. You got to be careful with the debarker in and out because it seems to move very quickly, and it's really difficult to get it finely adjusted. So if you watch my videos, quite often you'll see the debarker come slamming into the log, and it's basically, this is variable speed also, 0% and 100%. We have an hour meter right here, which unfortunately after a year is only at 42.2 hours. That's a sad, sad thing. That should have 200 or 300 hours on it, but I haven't had the opportunity to run it because of all the other stuff I'm working on and worried about. On this control panel, there's a number of circuit breakers, which are these little tiny silicone rubber boot covered switch. It's basically a small circuit breaker. I got one here, and I believe there's a couple around back. There's 2 around back. There's a number of them, one of them being for the debarker, and I have tripped that breaker a number of times, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. Last item on the list is Simple Set, which is this unit right here. This is their simple saw height control system. They have something that they call their AccuSet 2, which is I believe it's a $4,000 option. This Simple Set is standard with the LT40 and up. I shouldn't say and up because I believe the LT50 comes with the AccuSet 2 as far as standard. The LT35. LT35 has this, and possibly the 28, not positive. The way the Simple Set works is when you push the carriage down lever one time, like that, it will lower the saw head exactly whatever your setting is. If you can raise the saw head as much as you want, and it doesn't affect anything, but as soon as you hit the down lever, one time like that, it will go down back to the next setting that you've preset into here. If you accidentally hit that a second time, it'll go down again. And it doesn't matter where the carriage is, no matter what you're doing, if you hit that, it's going to go down. So if you're partway through a log and you bump into that, it's going down. If you're doing anything, it's going to go down. So you got to be very careful. But to set it, all you do is you take it out of manual. There's a little hand there. You got manual and auto. So you put it into auto mode. You can raise or lower the value that's going to be displayed here. And I believe it's in either 16th inch increments or 32nd, but I think it's 16th inch increments. You can set that for whatever you want as far as how much it's going to move each time you automatically reposition the blade. This here, there are 2 settings you can have, basically setting 1 and setting 2. So for example, if you're cutting 4/4 boards and 8/4 boards, you can have click it one time, you're at 4/4 setting, click it again, you're at your 8/4 setting automatically. And anytime you choose, wherever you are, whether you're on setting 1 or setting 2, you can raise and lower the value, and that becomes permanent until you change it again. And that's it for the control panel. So, oh, well, you know what? Let's show you a really cool part that I almost never use. And I try to be very careful because I don't want to scratch anything. Look at that. It's got a little cover. Isn't that pretty? But I try to keep it open because I don't leave this thing outside in the weather. I just hate doing stuff like that. So, and there. Now, if I put it that way, I got a little thing to carry stuff. I don't know what. So that's it for the quick walkthrough, which is a lot longer than I would have expected.